It's impossible to win the Euro when your two strongest players are not at their top level. What happened to Kylian Mbappé and Antoine Griezmann? Well, I'm not going to pass on the responsibility to one or another. I am the one in charge. I'm the one responsible. First of all, due to the end of their season, on top of that, Kylian suffered a trauma. And even though we did manage to reach the semi-finals, facing a Spanish side with such quality, such strong quality, even though Antoine didn't start playing, but Kylian did, and he didn't perform as well as he usually does. I'm not looking for any excuses. We started the preparation. We didn't have Aurélien. Adrien got injured. Upamecano arrived in a difficult physical condition. So we tried to do our best with what we had, and we tried to be as efficient as possible.
La marche était un peu plus haute, même si on a eu le bonheur d'ouvrir le score. Bon, en 4 minutes, tout s'est renversé.
It was great because we were able to open the score.
Évidemment, dans le jeu, cette équipe d'Espagne a beaucoup de maîtrise. Nous, on a été
the Spanish side does master the game better.
Performance et dans l'orientation
we
du jeu,
didn't perform so well. We didn't manage to
verticalité, donc
play so vertically as I would have wished. We did push all the way to the end. And I will not say that my players did not give it all. But they did not all play at 100% of their capacities for this Euros for several reasons. You went very far in this Euros up to the semi-finals, but after each match you had to hear about the quality of your game, the fact that France found it hard to score. Do you think this is logical, and were these signs of what could happen tonight? Well, I'm not here to commentate criticisms or debate. You may talk about anything you wish, no problem. I'm not going to talk about this. This is factual. I never denied that we didn't have the best offensive efficiency. From there on, we also had to adapt. Be efficient and go on. We made it to the semi-finals, and then everybody will have their own analysis. We didn't have 100% of our potential to do what we wanted to do, and this for the different reasons. As my colleague pointed out, you faced several criticisms, but you also reached the goals of your president to reach the semi-finals. Your contract lasts for another 2 years. Can you see yourself going up until the World Cup? Well, you know, I just lost the semi-final. Do you really think, you know, just ask my president. I respect you. Please try and respect people who also have responsibility. I'm saying this in a very calm manner. What happened, happened. I am here to answer your questions. I am not going to answer to this one, but you know the situation very well, and you know very well what my president thinks. Maybe you shouldn't even have asked this question. Good evening, Didier.
Juste petite question sur la décision de Kylian Mbappé de ne pas jouer.
A question on the decision that Kylian Mbappé decided not to play with his face mask. How was this decision taken, and how can you explain it? Because this will be the summary of these Euros. The inefficiency in front of the goal, whether it's Kylian or Theo's, from what you could see throughout the competition, is it a mental issue, or is it, technically speaking, are your players too relaxed? How do you explain this?
Le port du masque
Well,
lui a
regarding
mené
Kilian, wearing a
plus que de
face mask
désagréments qu'autre chose, notamment dans la vision, à
was
partir
not
du
an
moment où le
easy
médical
task in terms of
considère
restricting
qu'il y a une
his vision, and that
consolidation
was quite an
qui est suffisante.
inconvenience. The
Voilà,
medical
il se
staff
sentait
said
plus à
that,
l'aise
stated that there was a
sans
sufficient
le
consolidation,
masque.
and Kilian felt more at ease playing without a
C'est un
face mask.
peu tout, même si cette inefficacité
It's a little bit of
offensive
everything. This
vient surtout de frappes
offensive
non
inefficiency
cadrées. Après,
stems from
quand il s'agit, tout dépend
shots that are
des
not
joueurs aussi,
on
le fait
target,
que ça soit
and
là,
it also
et
depends
ça peut
on
devenir
my players.
un blocage
And
aussi, bien évidemment, c'est de
it
faire
can
le
cause
geste
a
le
blockage.
plus relâché et surtout
You need to be
cadré.
as relaxed
Mais
as
c'est ce
possible
qui nous
when
a fait
you
défaut
perform this
depuis
gesture, and you need to
le
shoot
début
on
de la
target.
compétition.
And this is
Et
what we were
malgré
missing since
tout,
the
on
beginning of
arrive en
these
demi-finale
Euros.
et aujourd'hui, on a
Nevertheless, we
trouvé
made it to the semifinals, and
ce
today
but
we did
avec,
find
avec Colo,
a
mais
way to score this
évidemment,
goal thanks to
d'avoir une
Kolo.
efficacité qu'on avait
But
jusqu'à
of
maintenant, qui
course,
était
it would
d'un
have been
bon
better to
niveau.
have an efficiency
Forcément, ça
like we've
donne
had up until now,
plus
but
de place et plus
you have more
de
space,
situations où on peut être amené à
and
gérer.
you can have
Là,
more
en
situations
n'ayant pas
where
ça,
you may need to manage
évidemment,
things. And
heureusement que
given that we weren't facing the
j'avais une équipe qui a
situations,
très bien défendu. Mais
fortunately,
en ayant
my
des
team
occasions, des
defended
frappes, mais pas
very solidly with
où c'est le
had
gardien, des fois aussi,
occasions
ou parce
for
qu'ils
shoots, and
étaient pas
sometimes it's
cadrés.
also the goalkeepers because the shots were not on target.
English, please. Anders from Norwegian, NRK. How did you see the goal of Lamine Yamal, and do you think you should have defended better at that goal?
Ah, sa frappe, elle est magnifique. Il a beaucoup de
His shot is
réussite, mais il ne faut pas
magnificent.
lui enlever le mérite.
He
Évidemment,
succeeded a lot, and he
situation en
deserves
étant
all his
gaucher,
credit.
oui,
With
on
the
était,
situation, he's left-footed,
forcément un peu trop loin,
and
et ils ont
we're,
cette qualité
of course, a
aussi,
bit too
les
far,
joueurs
and
espagnols,
they also
d'avoir
have this
beaucoup de
quality,
bons
this
frappeurs
Spanish
en dehors
player,
de la surface.
to
Là,
have
évidemment,
very
pour
good players
le
who
gêner
can
au
shoot
maximum,
outside of the surface.
on était un peu
And
trop
he
loin,
tried to
et
harm him.
ça
We
allait
tried to
laisser
harm
un peu
him
plus
as
de
much as
liberté,
possible, but we
même
were
s'il
too
fait un
far.
geste
So
qui est parfait.
he had more freedom,
Bonsoir Didier,
and his
François Pérez,
technical
Daily, si
gesture
je
was
t'interromps pas.
perfect.
Olivier Giroud est entré quelques minutes en fin de match.
Olivier
Ça n'a pas
Giroud
suffi. Il a joué
came in a
très
few minutes
probablement
before the
ses
end of the
dernières
match.
minutes en équipe de
It wasn't
France.
enough.
Meilleur buteur
He
des
probably
Bleus, il aura
played his
traversé
last
tout votre
few
parcours de
minutes
sélectionneur
with les Bleus.
Qu'est-ce que vous lui avez dit?
Best goal
Qu'est-ce que vous avez
scorers.
envie de nous dire
He's
ce
been
soir
with you
sur lui au moment de
since the
prendre
beginning.
sa
What
retraite
do you have to say to him, and
Écoutez,
what do you have
je
to
dirais
say to him now that he may
directement,
retire
il est déçu comme
internationally?
tous
I
les
will
joueurs,
say it
voilà,
right away.
Olivier,
He's
oui,
disappointed like
était
all
là
the
au
other
départ, c'est
players.
le dernier qui reste
Olivier
depuis
was
le
here
premier
since
match
the beginning,
contre
and
le
he
Rugby
is
au
the
Havre, avec
last
des périodes très
one since
difficiles
that
pour lui, des
first
périodes
match that we
lui
have
aussi où il
had
a
in
pas
Le
eu
Havre. Well, he
l'efficacité, ce
had
qui nous
some
a pas
difficult
empêché
periods and some periods
d'être
where he
champion
wasn't
du monde, et
as
puis au
efficient,
fil du temps,
and
voilà,
this
finir
prevented us from being
en
world
étant
champions. And over
meilleur
time,
buteur aujourd'hui, donc
we
c'est
finished being best goal
c'est un
scorer
exemple
at
de
this stage.
longévité, de sérieux,
And
de
he's
professionnalisme,
an
et
example of
même s'il a eu
longevity,
moins
seriousness,
de temps de
professionalism.
jeu
He had
durant cet
less
euro
playing
par
time
rapport à ce
during
que les
this
discussions
Euros
qu'on avait, il était
compared
à fond
with what
avec,
the discussions
avec
we
le
had
groupe, il fait partie des
initially,
leaders, même s'il
but
n'est pas
he's
sur la
part of the
pelouse,
leaders
donc
of this group, even though he's not
évidemment,
always on the pitch.
ça aurait été mieux de finir dimanche, mais
It
oui,
would have
ça,
been better if we had finished
j'ai envie
on
de lui dire
Sunday,
bravo et
but
merci
what I
pour
want
tout
to
ce qu'il
say
a
to
fait.
him is well done and thank you for everything you have done.
Bonjour.
A last question.
Ici. À droite, droite.
Pardon.
Juste pour prolonger ça, justement, il y a eu encore beaucoup de centres ce soir. Vous avez fait beaucoup tourner sur ce poste d'attaquant axial.
You had a lot of rotations for the strikers in the axe. Is there somebody missing, like somebody like along the likes of Olivier in your team?
travers ce qu'il a fait et le but qu'il
Well,
marque aussi. Après,
given what Kolo
Olivier,
did
c'est Olivier,
and the goal that he scored, well, that's great. And Olivier is Olivier. And so much the better for him. That's what I say to
Au
him.
niveau du public, médiatique,
There's the environment with the public, with the media. You looked after him very well because he wasn't always efficient. You were saying that he would not always score goals, even though I kept defending him. But Olivier is Olivier. He has this capacity to be very efficient.
Dans tout ce qui est course et déplacement par rapport aux d'autres joueurs.
He has less quality in terms of runs, but there's young players as well,
vient de faire une très très belle saison,
such as Marcus, who just finished a very beautiful season, and he's in the French team, so it's one step ahead. And Olivier is part of the ones who have been here for the longest, but there's also a lot of youngsters like Bradley Barcola with what he has done. It's great, even though Warren didn't play, but the fact that he's here, it will serve him as an experience. There are other young, relatively young players for whom it is the first competition, and this will help them for the future.